Hello everyone. I welcome you all to this newspaper analysis initiative. These are the articles that we are going to look today. We will move on to the first article. The first article for the day, menstrual health in schools is integral to right to life, Supreme Court. The court said something very basic but very powerful. Menstrual health is not a luxury, it is a basic right. It is part of the right to life and dignity under Article 21. See, imagine you are a schoolgirl. You get your period, no pad available, no clean toilet, no privacy, boys tease or stare. You feel embarrassed. So, what do? You skip school. Now, slowly, you miss classes. You fall behind. Maybe you even drop out. So, the court said this is not just a health issue, this is an education, dignity, and equality issue. The judges basically said dignity should not be just a big word in books, it must show in real life. If girls feel shame, hide, miss school, use unsafe clothes, then their dignity and freedom are being taken away, and that is against the constitution. Now, what did the court order schools to do? Every school must have separate toilets for girls, clean water, privacy, free sanitary napkins, vending machines for pads, proper disposal system, and menstrual health management corners with spare uniforms, innerwear, and disposal bags. So, if emergency happens, girls can handle it comfortably. Now, what about boys? Boys and male teachers must be educated about menstruation because teasing, jokes, harassment, and insensitive questions make girls feel worse. So, awareness is equal to respect. See, the court also fixes the accountability. For government schools, government is responsible, and private schools, they can lose recognition if they don't follow. So, this is mandatory, not optional. See the next article for the day, a job well done. See, this article is praising the Government of India's Economic Survey 25-26. The message is the survey has done a very good job. It is realistic, practical, and future focused. See, now what is an economic survey? It is like India's annual health checkup report. Before the budget, it studies the economy, finds problems, suggests solutions, and guides government policy. Now, what is the global situation? The survey says world economy is unstable, many risks ahead. There is even 10 to 20% chance of a global crisis worse than 2008. So basically, don't be overconfident. Storms may come. Now, how is India doing? Compared to other countries, India is stable, growth is steady, no major shocks. So, the big idea of the survey here is entrepreneurial state. What does that mean? Normally, government is slow, rule bound, scared to take risk. Survey says government should act like a startup founder, meaning take risk, try new ideas, experiment, learn from failures and move fast. See other details about rupee falling, structural issue and center and state finances we have already discussed yesterday, so I am skipping that part alone. See the next article for the day, green steel can shape India's climate goals trajectory. See this article is about green steel and why it is very important for India's climate goals. See when there is no steel then there is no development. Everything needs steel like roads, bridges, railways, buildings, factories, defense and renewable energy towers. So steel is the backbone of India's economic growth. But the problem is steel production today uses coal, which is very high pollution. So the result is steel sector alone contributes around 12% of India's total carbon emissions, which is huge climate damage. Then what is green steel? Steel made with less pollution. Instead of coal, they use green hydrogen, renewable electricity, scrap recycling and carbon capture. So less smoke, less carbon and cleaner air. Now, why is this very important for India? India plans to produce 125 million tons steel now and increase to 400 plus million tons by 2050. That is 3 times the growth. And if we continue old coal method, pollution will also become 3 times and which is disaster for climate. So the author says if we expand cleanly. Now what are other countries doing? If you take China, they use hydrogen and scrap steel. For in Europe, they use clean steel push for 20 years and strict carbon pricing. So world is moving fast, and if India delays, we fall behind. Now what should government do? See, government support here, it is very much needed because green steel is expensive. Like clean carbon targets, carbon pricing, green hydrogen supply, renewable power, scrap market reform, cheap loans, gas as transition fuel, and subsidies for small firms. So, all these need to be provided by the government, and without this policy support, it will be very, very expensive for the companies. See, one thing to be noted here is India became the first country to formalize the green steel taxonomy, that is nothing but providing a definition, a regulatory definition for low carbon production. See the next article for the day, the 27th Amendment, Pakistan's Democratic Dilemma. See, Pakistan changed its constitution and reduced the powers of its Supreme Court. That's the main issue in this article. See, what did this amendment do? See, Supreme Court of Pakistan handled all major constitutional matters. Now, government created a new court called Federal Constitutional Court and shifted constitutional interpretations, rights cases and federal disputes from Supreme Court to this new court. Now, why is this a problem? Because this sounds harmless, right? It is just another court, but here's the catch. The worry is this new court can be influenced by the executive, that is the government. So, if judges are controlled or influenced, then they may favor the government. Now, why should India care? Because that's the point that we have to focus upon. See, this is not about comparing or criticizing Pakistan. It is about actually learning lessons. Because if neighboring countries weaken courts, it reminds us how important judicial independence is. See the next article for the day, UGC equity rules flow from Article 15's mandate to remedy historical injustice. Now what a petition is arguing here. See, they say rules assume only SC, ST, OBC suffer discrimination. General category students also face harassment and law protects only one side. Hence, it is known as reverse discrimination. Their claim is law should protect everyone equally. Now, how does Article 15 come here? See, Article 15 says two things. No discrimination. Students cannot discriminate on caste, religion, etc. The second thing is special protection allowed. States can make special provisions for socially and educationally backward classes. This is legally valid. So the key concept here is substantive equality. This is what court supports. The next article for the day, norms modified for IPS officers taking up IG post at center. So the Ministry of Home Affairs has made central deputation compulsory for Indian Police Service officers. The new rule is to become Inspector General at the center, an officer must serve to minimum 2 years at the center at SP or DIG level. This is applying from 2011 batch onwards. Now why is this true? Because states are not sending enough IPS officers to the center and many posts are lying vacant. The vacancies currently are at SP level, it is around 104 out of 229 seats, and DIG level it is 69 empty out of 256. So center is short of officers. Now the simple logic is government is saying if you want promotion at the center, first gain central experience. The next article is labor intensive sectors to benefit from EU-India FTA. See, the European Union-India Free Trade Agreement is expected to be implemented in 2026 and it will strongly benefit labor-intensive sectors like apparels, textiles, jewellery and MSMEs. So the government's approach is India signs FTAs only with developed countries and it avoids deals that hurt domestic industry. See, if you look into the benefits of the European Union Free Trade Agreement, the export potential is around $35 billion and around $33.5 billion products gets 0% duty from day one. So this is a big boost for labor intensive jobs and it helps compete with Bangladesh and Vietnam who had duty advantages earlier. See, India has signed around 8 FTAs covering 37 countries and which are mainly developed markets. The major goal here is to increase exports, create jobs and become developed nation by 2047. The next article for the day, stem cell therapy cannot be offered as a clinical service for autism, Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India ruled stem cell therapy cannot be offered as a treatment for autism. It can be used only inside approved clinical trials. Why? Because no strong scientific proof it works and safety is not established and the risks are unknown. So, doctors cannot properly inform patients, and without proper information, the consent is invalid. The next article for the day, high tap coverage under Jal Jeevan scheme but lower usage reliability. Now, the major aim of Jal Jeevan mission is to provide 55 liters of potable water per capita every day to every rural household through functional household tap connections by 2024. That is the core aim of this mission. But the reality speaks otherwise. Now, what is the issue? Under the Jal Jeevan mission, most homes now have taps, but many don't get regular clean water. So, coverage is high, but functionality is low. So, if you look into the numbers, 98% households have taps installed. 83% actually got water in last 7 days, and 80% get minimum 55 liters per day, and 76% water quality, and there is regular supply satisfactory. So, only 3 out of 4 homes truly benefit. Now, what are the problems? Irregular supply, low water flow, poor quality in some places, and big gaps in states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. The next article for the day, FPI outflows at a 5-month high of 35,962 crore rupees. See, foreign investors pull money out of Indian markets, and in January alone, the number is around 35,000 crores, which is the highest outflow in 5 months. And this data is from National Securities and Depository Limited. Now, why are FPIs selling? The main reasons are weak corporate earnings, rupee depreciation, and global uncertainty. In 2025, the total selling so far is around 1.66 lakh crore rupees. The next article for the day, NSE receives SEBI's approval for initial public offering. See, only one key takeaway from this article is that the National Stock Exchange, which is the India's largest exchange, is to initiate its initial public offering, and SEBI has actually given a no objection certificate for this. Just remember this. See, the last article for the day, Sri Lanka to stick to IMF path despite cyclone blow. See, there was one key term which is known as Extended Fund Facility, and this was provided by the IMF, which is International Monetary Fund. Now, what is this EFF? It is long-term support plus strict reforms, not free money. IMF says that I'll give money, but you must fix your economy. Now, what reforms IMF usually demands? It is known as the austerity measures. That is, cut spending, increase revenue. So, what the country should do is reduce subsidies, raise taxes, increase fuel and electricity prices, cut welfare, restructure debt, and control government spending. So, the goal is to make economy stable and repay loans. But what is the problem? These reforms hurt common people because prices rise, taxes increase, pensions reduce, and cost of living goes up. So that's all for today. Thank you all for joining.